Okay. So, first thing I just want to get out of the way. I'm wearing merch from some type of organized fighting thing. Um, I don't condone organized fighting. I think all of it's stupid, but it's very hard to find clothing that fits my body that is cheap. And I found this used and I snatched it up because it's hard to find 2XL stuff that's like, check that out. Like, that's actually long enough. Like, you don't understand how it's like to be me. So, I don't know what this is. I don't support it except that they make nice clothes. It's like good thick material too. Like it's nice. Fuck them for making good merch or whatever. Also, I'm sick, so I'm gonna make nose sounds. Okay. So, I've said some stuff this past year. And I know how it probably looks. I mean, I know most people don't give a shit. Okay, I'm presuming if you're watching this channel, you kind of care. And how it looks is I'm like, oh, I'm super different now, and I'm gonna take a break. And then I shout out 3 albums in under 2 weeks, which I did do that. It was more just coincidentally they all kind of came out at the same time, and that is what it is. What I learned from doing that was that I was pretty miserable for most of the time. I did enjoy the procedural process of scoring the like Constructs album. Like, I liked that when I had time to do it, I would sit down and like, here's just a task. Like, we're just scoring these long, complicated songs. And that was nice until it wasn't. I didn't have a full album of it in me. I know it shows up as a full album because of the instrumental orchestral tracks, but like, it's not. It's short, right? It's 6 songs, including an interlude. It's an EP. I loved scoring that right up until I didn't. I also liked working on the new voice side right up until I didn't. I don't know. The point I'm getting at is the like, I am done, but these were in the works, and I got to see if I could work on them in a way that was like more healthy and balanced, and like largely I really couldn't. I think musically the 3 albums I put out are better than most of the stuff I've done, which is cool, but it I didn't do it in a way that I'm happy with, in the sense that the only time I really made good progress was when I let it affect my life negatively, when I started neglecting my family and my health in order to do this stuff. I thought it was really stupid to think of it in terms of mutually exclusive, like it has to be one or the other. Even still saying it, it's stupid, but it was the better part of a year and I just could not find a balance. It was kind of one or the other. That's not the only reason though. Like, at this point, it's been over 10 years of working on this type of music. It's got to the point where like I used to be able to say a couple of years ago, it's like, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years. But of course, if you flashed back to 10 years, I was just baby experimenting garbage stuff. Like, it was, yeah. Whereas now it's been like 10 years since, I don't want to say what I was putting out 10 years ago was good, but it's definitely not a stretch of the imagination to listen to it and go, oh, that came from you, right? And it's not that I don't think I'm improving. Obviously, many areas are improving. It's just, it's been 10 years since I've even had the same vibe, like the same sound of things. The technicality is improved, the musicianship is improved, but like the core ideas at this point have more or less stopped growing, which is fine. What hasn't been growing is like the fan base, the engagement. I've said, nobody owes you success, and I was talking to me as much as I was talking to you. I've said the numbers don't matter, and the numbers aren't everything, but I'm really fucking done. Like, it's one thing to work on this stuff and just see like really really slow growth, but it's definitely another when you like talk to people who are just starting out, and I'm just like, look man, like it's a thankless job. You just gotta grind, you just gotta keep at it. And then they just instantly do, they're just hitting like hundreds of thousands of numbers, and it's like, oh, so no, maybe it is just me. And at this point, like I'm gonna sound like a little bitch, but like I don't know anyone in this industry who's doing worse than me, numbers wise. I know numbers aren't everything, but if we're Jesus Christ. But if we're talking just numbers, the shit that I've been working on has steadily declined and is doing worse than every other person that I know. And it's like, why am I doing this? What am I doing? If it's for the numbers, then I should give up. It's been long enough. It should have taken off at this point. Like, people say, you see these like freak viral things that just go super viral overnight, and it's like, okay, well, it spoke to people emotionally instead of musically, and I'm fine with that. That's cool. It's crazy that it's been this long I've been at this, and not one single thing has spoken to people enough to have it really leave my immediate circle, right? It just shows that the type of thing that I'm doing does not resonate with people. And like, I'm okay if it's just like, if it's going to a few fans, like it's fine. But it's not worth the amount of my life that I give to it. Like, in that sense, I am measuring success based on numbers, because a handful of people really love it, and that's awesome, but it's not worth treating it like it's a full-time job when I already work a full-time job. And like, it just sucks so much. And it doubly sucks because I see so many people who, like, I guess are my peers. Maybe they're not even that, because I'm like that pathetic, that are just like, wow, if I got those numbers, I certainly would be happier. Like, yeah, maybe I would be like, oh, I wish these numbers were higher. Like, yeah, maybe, but I certainly wouldn't feel this fucking shitty, I'll tell you what. And the numbers aren't everything, right? And I'm being a whiny little baby, just expecting everyone to love what I do. And I didn't think it mattered this much, but obviously it does, because like I've not been doing so hot. And yeah, it's a trade-off. It's like giving this much time in my life in order to make this product that really doesn't get anywhere. And so I'm gonna not do that anymore. It's not worth it for my own sanity. I want to be a little dramatic piece of shit and just delete all the social media, because social media is the reason I feel shitty, and the reason it feels like a thankless job. But like, it's one thing to be like, you look at social media, wow, everyone's so successful and everyone's so happy, but that's not real because it's social media and social media is fake. But it's another to just have the numbers. Like, the numbers don't lie. You look at everyone's fucking posting their Spotify shit, and it's just, you look at that, and not one person has posted shittier numbers than what we got, which is why I'm not posting mine, like, across any project. And I have more projects than most people, but like, that doesn't total like more music than most people. It's not like I'm taking those potential numbers and spreading them out between 6 things or whatever, right? Like, that's not how it works. And it just sucks. It's very fucking humbling to be like, this year I improved so much as a musician. Like, the production of the albums, not only are they so much better as individual releases, but they also are so much more their own voices, right? Nobody is ever going to listen to Angry and Survivor's Guilt and be like, why did you make those two different projects? Like, they're so fucking different. And same with Design Abstract, and like all of those projects have like come into their own as a sound, and I'm super proud of that. And nobody fucking cares, and that's okay. But I have to remind myself, look, nobody fucking cares, and if you want people to care, you're in this for the wrong reasons. And like, yeah, I think I am. So I think I'm done, like, with almost everything. I have a couple little ideas that I want to make that aren't metal at all. I think I do inherently like putting myself in that position of learning. I don't want to say that I've like mastered symphonic melodeath or whatever, because I would sound like a cocky shithead, but I haven't mastered it in the sense of appealing to people, obviously, but I feel like I have mastered what the Design Abstract was supposed to be. I'm not going to make another technotheism or constructs. Like, if Design Abstract continues, it's going to sound vastly different, because this sound as it was is like, it's done. Like, it's done. I've exhausted like everything I can. And yeah, if Constructs blew up and a label was like, we need more of that shit, I would be like, absolutely, sir. And I would just sell my soul to do that. But we're not even going to get that opportunity, right? Like, we don't even get as far as, hey, do you want to sell out? Because nobody fucking cares, right? And so as far as that goes, like Design Abstract, like that's probably going to be more or less of a hiatus thing, because the sound that I have in mind, if I do continue it, is going to be almost unrecognizable. But I'm not even going to work on that. Like, I'm really not. I have a couple things that I just want to experiment with that aren't metal, because again, like I was saying, I like being a learner. I like approaching something new. I think it's more enjoyable than trying to like release an album. Fucking Transhuman Ascendant was like 95% the best shit we can do, and then just push and push and push to get like that much closer to the diminishing returns, right? Whereas like, I'm just gonna do some entirely new shit on my own with no expectations, and then it's gonna suck, and then I'll get a bit better at it. And I think that's what I like more. Because man, those diminishing returns, like trying to improve on Transhuman Ascendant, like that album is not perfect, but it was fucking insane. And like trying to improve on that, like, do you know how hard that is? And like Constructs is really good. And do you know what it's like to think about trying to improve on that? I've literally not given it any thought until right now. And it's like, no, we're not making more of that shit. No, it's done. It is peak of what it possibly can be. And I don't mean that other bands can't come along and do better. I encourage them to. But for me and for Logan and for the Design Abstract, like, this is as good as it can get, at least for now. Maybe I'll come back to it in years and be like, okay, I can kind of see a direction. But right now, the direction is like so far away from what it is that I don't think anyone would like it. And I just don't care. Like, it's not worth the amount of mental energy that I put in for like the amount of returns. It's not about the money. It's never been about the money. There is no the money. There is no money. There isn't. We did lose money this time because we bought the album art. But we didn't pay for promotion. We didn't pay for anything. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Yeah, the Abstracted Records like roster as it is now, I will chip away at like new EV if those guys want to work on that. I am not going to touch music, and when I do, it's going to be like completely left field and like starting over, basically, in a completely different genre. I'm going to take the skills that I have and then just strip away everything I don't care about and then make music from that, right? Because like, I don't like playing guitar and I don't really listen to metal anymore. My fucking Spotify rap, there's no metal in it, and a lot of it was Japanese, and I was like, oh fuck, am I a weeb? Am I a fucking weeb? So that's fun. And I'm going to see, I don't want to put anything out in the world that hasn't like already been done by someone better because I have a genre in mind and I have inspirations in mind, and it's like, well, they've already done this better, but is there a way that I can amalgamate those inspirations and create something that has my voice that isn't like those inspirations, even if it sucks, and it will suck. And I'm going to do that as passively as I possibly can, because I always just let it get so out of hand, and I ignore people, and I don't sleep, and I don't eat. And I know you can't tell from, like, sure, you don't eat, buddy, but, I eat like shit. I don't prepare food. And it's like insane, because this year, I was actively like, I'm not going to let this get out of hand. I'm pointedly going to monitor how I am in relation to music. And several times I caught myself literally 2 weeks in being like, wow, have I just been a zombie the whole time? And, wife is like, yup. It's like, oh, fuck. Got a lot done. And it's like, she can't blame me, because she's the same way in other things, not with music, but with other stuff. Like, we get each other. It's not like a problem. I'm not just airing dirty laundry, but my relationship. She gets it and I get it. The thing is, I'm trying to actively not be like that, and yet it still fucking happens anytime I make significant progress on an album, because that's what it takes with music this complicated. It takes that, like, it's all you can think about. You lose sleep, you fucking hear it in your sleep, you wake up hearing it, and then you already know what needs to be fixed without even listening to it, because it's what you were fucking dreaming about. And like, I think it is mutually exclusive. I think it is either one or the other. And so, at least for now, it has to be no. Like, I'm I'm done. I'm gonna go back to fuck, I hate being sick. I'm gonna go back to just kind of being a learner, being a student, maybe trying to have some fun with it. I've almost considered buying an electric drum set and just doing what I used to be good at. I don't know, but yeah, these albums that came out this year after I said I'm not doing music anymore, they were finishing up stuff that was already started, and the conclusion wasn't only that I'm not able to manage my time and my personal life force resources, but also that, like, I'm just fucking done with this. After 10 years, the amount of growth that we haven't seen in those 10 years is fucking staggering. And I refuse to believe it's because we don't play shows, because, like, the numbers are like, I've seen some bands pop up and they're in the 100K streams in under a year. Okay, so even if they played 10 shows, are you telling me that 10,000 people a show are listening to their Spotify? No, they're starting out, they're playing bar shows with 200 people. There's no way that they're getting that kind of reach, right? I refuse to believe that's all it is, because that's fucking stupid. Like, that's insane. Like, just for ease of math, because I'm mathematically retarded, like, a band has played 10 shows, has 100K streams, right? You cannot tell me that's because of those shows. Those numbers are fucking batshit insane. Not to mention, anytime I went and saw an opening band, I would be like, wow, these guys are pretty cool, I'm going to check them out. And never did, ever. The show, I'm dying. The band that I was there to see, I already liked, right? And if I didn't listen to a band that I didn't know about, I would know about them. I don't know. Maybe that's just the fucking autism. Like, I never found new bands by going to shows, right? I already knew about the bands, and I knew if I liked them or I didn't like them. Those numbers do not add up to me, and like, even bands with like that haven't just started out, right? Like, even bands that have been around for years and they're just seeing steady growth. The growth in numbers on the internet is like not proportionate to the amount of shows that they play. Like, it's impossible that they are, because nobody that I know was like, hey dude, I just saw a local metal band play an opening set at a show I was at, and I'd be like, cool, I don't fucking care. And they'd be like, no, you have to listen to it, you have to. And it's like, nobody's ever that insistent. that is not how that music is spreading. Like it can't be, because I've never had that conversation in my fucking life. And I know I don't have that many friends and that my friends would know better, but not all of them would, you know? Like people recommend me shit that's just like way off base. People are not scared to recommend shit that is irrelevant for me. I refuse to believe that's what it is. You know, I don't know what it is. I'm not a marketing person. I will never be a marketing person because I'm done with all of this shit. But I don't think that it's just oh, you don't play shows and that's why. Maybe that's why we're not interesting to record labels. But it's definitely, it doesn't explain the gap of like virality or plays or clicks or whatever. Like it has to just be that nobody fucking cares. And like, again, we have fans. There's just not very many given the amount of time we've spent doing this. We have a couple, we have like a handful of like diehards and they're awesome, but like it's not worth sacrificing my time and energy on shit that's like this elaborate as Constructs is. Listen to the orchestral arrangements, like those orchestra solo tracks of Constructs, if you don't understand what I mean. Like I put that shit together in like a month or two. I did the bulk of it in like a 2-week span where I didn't do anything else. And like, that's stupid. But I don't think I could do it over the course of months because you're on a wavelength, right? And like when you lose that wavelength, that's it, which is why I cut a whole bunch of songs off that album, because the wavelength thing was just gone. I think that's just how the music I make is, and it's just not worth it. Like for the minuscule amount of returns that we get. Yeah. So I think that's it. Like, I think I'm done doing this for a while. I'm going to experiment and tinker in my own time. And maybe if the guys want to keep doing EV, I kind of feel like Logan's sort of done as well. I think he is more interested in doing other stuff too. So I don't know. Kind of effective hiatus. It was interesting, those albums that I put out, to see how it would affect me. It turns out badly. Pretty much done with everything. This industry sucks, though I wouldn't know because I'm not a part of it, and I don't think I ever will be. I fucking hate music, genuinely, and I'm sorry this video was a downer, but I'm not really, because it's my channel. If you didn't come here to hear me bitch, I don't know why you're here. Yeah, alright.